Welcome to the Digital Growth Hack Club, where we help you elevate your business and your bottom line. Here is your host, Jenny Jones.
Hey, I'm your host, Jenny Jones, here with the Digital Growth Hacks Club. Hey, listen, I was able to travel to London, right? or near London and meet with our next founder here. This is Duran George with Quick Blog. And I could not wait to get him on here because I had a couple of different questions. I had never seen anything quite like this. And it was something that I had been looking for, the type of tool that I've been looking for a while, because I have a couple of different pages and a couple of different tools that I use that don't allow me to get the actual keyword research that I would like to get. And this tool came along at the right time because I'm trying to optimize my pages. So I want to just talk to him a little bit more about that, have him introduce himself in his own way, take a couple of minutes here, introduce himself. So ladies and gentlemen, we have Duran George. Welcome to the show, sir.
Thanks a lot, Jenny. Nice to meet you.
Yeah. So listen, this tool, it's called Quick Blog. Let me just set it up for you guys. It's called Quick Blog, and currently right now they're on Appsumo, and they're doing pretty good. And I can see why. Once I got the tool and started working within it, it's very easy to navigate and very easy to move around. And I said, man, I got to get them on the show. So I want to start. I kind of want to understand where the whole vision of this Quick Blog came from. Where did all this come from?
Yeah, sure. So, I've been part of Appsumo for about 2 years now, and I wanted to start a sales strategy agency back in like late 2019, 2020. Mm-hmm. And then I remember the Swipe Pages deal came out on Appsumo, bought that, and I was like, this is the best thing ever. But of course, they didn't have a blog functionality within that. And to be really successful, you need to have organic traffic, and blogs are the best way to do that. You get the story from there, right? So I reached out to the founder, and they said that they weren't actually looking to build any blog functionality anytime soon.
This is Swipe Pages, right?
Yeah, Swipe Pages.
There's a story. There's another story with that too. So remind me to tell you. So go ahead. I don't want to stop you because I kind of ran into the same issue. But go ahead. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
But yeah, I started doing some digging. Is there a tool that can embed inside a page that would then have the blog content? And there is one tool that's well established. It's called Drop-in Blog. I actually used it for maybe like a couple of months, but I found that where I wanted to, actually have some specific functionality that they weren't building it in, and they weren't, entertaining any sort of like new roadmap or features and things like that. So I thought, well, I think I can do a better job than that.
Nice.
So that's where the whole concept came from, like the whole idea of this embedded blog.
Right.
So I took what I'd kind of, learned from how to use their platform, and just started building my own one. And that's pretty much the story of how Quick Blog was born. It's something that I thought, it came out of necessity of wanting to do something a little bit better and a little bit different. And that's where I'm taking it now. So I had a couple of, feature requests, like integrations with like Google Sheets and Google Search Console to make things like indexing much simpler, much easier. And the SEO capabilities as well. So to do things like scoring of the blog content to make sure that it has the best chance of being ranked when it's been indexed by Google, and obviously when you're building like your backlink structure and things like that.
Listen, that's fascinating. I think I've had a lot of founders come on the show, and your story is a little bit, I like your story because it's closer to something that I would do. It's like, you know what, this is not working. Then you talk to the founders of the company, they're like, yeah, that's not our direction. And you're like, well, hold on, that is the direction, that I would like to travel in, because there's no way. And the reason why I brought that up is because I had Swipe Pages, but what was happening was I got another tool, obviously from Appsumo, and it kept saying, hey, you don't have a tree, right? You don't have on Swipe Pages, you don't have a tree, you don't have an index. So there's things you don't have. So as good as that tool is, there's things that don't allow you to rank with that tool. And there's nothing wrong with that tool, but that was my challenge. So I could put together a really clean, nice, sleek page, but no one would find me. And it's like, why? And so I started I started writing stuff on my page just to try to get found. And they was like, nah, you're not gonna get found, buddy. And no matter how hard I tried, because after I started learning and getting more into search engine optimization, I was like, man, I built out this fancy page, but nobody could find me. But I also have another tool that I use. Some of those things I'll probably get into. It's like I have this VIP that I run for our the digital growth hacks, and some of those things I'm going to share. Some of what I use for my hub and some other tools. But when I use those tools, they don't really have a blog either. They don't have an index. But I can make some awesome pages. And the back end is so robust. I can do so many different things. It's like, man, it's like going into Grand Central Station, people moving all over the place. The software can direct all of that on the back end, but I can't get found on the front end. Yeah. And so while everybody's building out all these builders and all these pages, it's hard to get indexed. So that's why your tool was very attractive to me. Now, talk to me a little bit about the score. I think you guys have a SEO score. Tell me what it's about, because I got some questions on that, and not bad. It's just some things I was like, oh, I didn't know this. I didn't know that. So what did that come about?
Yeah. So again, it was some of the key features that I'd seen in another tool. But what I did was I went back and started doing some research into, what are the key sort of elements that really like Google or any other search engines really look for when they're trying to index a page. And it is things like, obviously, other than keywords and the sort of on and off page SEO, but looking at things like your tags, the structure of your link. Are you adding specific, let's say, like your keyword density? Are you adding those keywords in the content? Indexes are looking at the H1 tags and things like that. So it's quite like interesting. It's quite sophisticated. Like no one, if they hadn't been in this industry, like doing SEO for years, would know all of this. So I thought, well, I'm going to make a tool that's very easy to publish blogs, but also this ability to be able to rank and be found is really, really important. And so the SEO scorer was like the first thing I wanted to build in before actually launching Quick Blog. I did an alpha and a beta before, and that didn't have the SEO score in. But once I realized that I have to build this, because otherwise it's going to be a pointless blog tool. And so now I think it's easily become like the most favorite part of the users tool, the users who are using Quick Blog. So other than maybe the agencies who have lots of sub accounts, and of course they can write blogs for clients and then resell that or charge them a recurring fee or something like that.
Yeah, that was the interesting part about that was I didn't even know it had the SEO score in it. I just wanted it. When I saw it, I said, man, I got to have an embeddable blog on my swipe pages. I have a couple of them, but I also use them with another tool. So it was just hard to get indexed. And like I said, so I started writing a blog and I was like, whoa. And I scroll down. I said, oh, this has a score in it, right? So obviously, when I first started out, I was like at 50%. I was like, nah, I got to move the needle and get it to the green. Yeah. And I said, oh, so these are some of the things that it do. And what I noticed was it has some similarities to YouTube, the way I've been trying to rank on YouTube. And I've taken some courses in that and using some other tools. They have helped me rank a lot faster. And then I looked at the similarities that your SEO score uses. Okay. Yeah. When you're doing an SEO, and I know YouTube is a SEO, YouTube and Google are mostly SEO driven. Yeah. And so that was unique. I really like that SEO score. My question that I have and others may have is, does it slow down your page any at all, or do or have you tested it yourself, or what are you getting? What kind of feedback are you getting?
Yeah, sure. So I've written some articles very recently. I'm actually working with an SEO consultant or SEO manager or freelancer rather, just to help sort of rank pages as well. So working with them to actually build some content that I believe people are going to search for, and then actually find Quick Blog. So some posts on, like, let's say, optimizing your website, which travel bloggers make the most money, how to start up a blog, this kind of stuff.
Right.
And so that's what I've been working on myself. And Quick Blog shouldn't slow down your page at all. I know people have done some comparative speeds. For example, one user, being very, very candid, and this is absolutely fine for me to talk about. One user actually said he did a completely blind, fair test against WordPress and Quick Blog and having the same content on page.
Mm-hmm.
And Quick Blog did a little bit worse, which I'm not surprised at. I've literally got one server, one failover server. What I'm actually looking at is increasing the architecture, so to do things like resilience, load balancing, and having them in multiple regions. So that way, Quick Blog becomes a lot more performant, and then won't actually slow down the web page. But when I've done tests on things like my own blog and other people's, which are on different builders, they're using typically GT metrics,
Right.
and they're able to get scores of B and A. So that's really, really good in my eyes. Obviously, the more that they add in things like, let's say, the discuss script or the share the script and all the other bits that get added into it, these are effectively JavaScript add-ons into the blog. Then as you add more of those, then of course, then that takes longer to load. So then that can obviously affect your score. But, if you're really looking at the bare bones of Quick Blog, then it's very, very, very quick, but it will get quicker. It will become more resilient, more scalable when I start to add a lot more infrastructure to it.
Yeah, because it then becomes, what's your trade-off, right? What's your trade-off of not having a blog, for one, two, going to a WordPress, which once you lift under the hood in a WordPress, they'd be like, okay, so you need to move this here and then change the carburetor. And you're like, wait, what? I didn't really want to get into all of this. And there are some people that want to keep their costs down, so they want to do it themselves. I think this is a very good alternative if you want to keep your costs down and you want to do it yourselves. I think for speed, I know that Google looks at a lot of different things and how fast your page can load and should we serve this up? But if you got good content, they're going to try their best to serve it up. Or if you have very good content, then you're going to get some backlinks from that as well. So it becomes a trade-off, I think, and you have to realize how much of that you want, that you're willing to give up. Yeah. But I'm encouraged at the fact that you said, hey, we're trying to find a way to kind of optimize it to get it to run a little bit faster. So I can appreciate that. So where do you see Quick Blog, I think, in the next 5 years? Do you see you guys possibly getting bought out by someone, or no one can see the future, but what happens to Sumo Lings, man? If you just roll out of bed one day and be like, I don't think I want to do Quick Blogs anymore. I want to go back to school and become a veterinarian, right? I don't know. Crazier stuff has happened though. But
you're absolutely right there. I mean, for my part, I am 100% invested into Quick Blog, even though it is not my main source of income. I mean, I've literally just started. It's a side project, and I've been very, very open about that from the start. I've been posting that on all the Appsumo comments, but it's a side project that I see going a very promising future, in a very good direction. And, my plan is within 2 years, hopefully 2 years, I can supplement my own income that I have now and just work on this full time. Obviously, as we grow and grow, I'll hire my own team, build out the capabilities directly in-house. So right now I'm working with a development shop in India, and they're fantastic. They're so good. They're so speedy. And when there's issues, they fix them in no time. But the vision for me, there's two parts. So like I said, I will be focusing on this full time at some point. I'm hoping within 2 years I can supplement my income completely and then just dedicate myself 100% to Quick Blog. And then I think about the product vision as well. So in my head, it's very clear where I think Quick Blog is going. But I think when you're creating a roadmap, it's quite difficult to really sort of elaborate like what that vision is. But ultimately, I want Quick Blog to be the easiest, fastest, and best blog publishing tool that anyone has ever used. So, and it's going to incorporate a number of different things. It's not going to be quite like, let's say, an AI SEO writer, like, let's say, Jarvis or lots of these other tools.
It's not what you're going for.
Yeah, it's not what I'm going for, but it will have the ability to steer people in the right direction in terms of where their content should start to look at. So it's going to have elements of, let's say like some SEO analysis, some keyword analysis, building that in. It's going to be integrated with Google Search Console so that you'll be able to look at your analytics from, search traffic, which keywords are coming in directly from your, let's say your search traffic, as well as performance over time. So you'll be able to very clearly see, let's say you start, maybe 1,000 hits per month. And then after Quick Blog, you'll hopefully start seeing, your traffic start increasing. And you'll be able to do things like requesting the indexing of a post directly from Quick Blog. So looking at the capabilities of the API integration, this is completely possible. So I'm working that out with the development company at the moment. We're also building in a much slicker navigation UI that should hopefully be done, I think, by the end of February, where it'll be much easier to navigate Quick Blog, but also it'll be easier then to support additional features because everything's much more cleanly laid out. And these are some of the key things which are really, really important. As well as that, like I've talked about the architecture, so making it more available, making it faster, making it more reliable. And then going forward, I want to do things like, there's some really cool suggestions on the roadmap I hadn't even thought about, but multi-publishing. So you know how, for example, the likes of Story Chief, which is another Appsumo deal, can publish to WordPress, it can publish to Medium, it can publish to Quora and all these different platforms at once. I actually want to explore doing something very similar to that, because that means that not only could you publish your content to your own site, you could do it simultaneously to all these other different sites. So multi-publishing, I think, would be really, really cool. And then making it easier for blog creators, users to actually monetize the content. So using things like paywalls, which people have requested quite a lot. So that's something I'm going to be looking in probably in the latter half of this year. And then there's also things like Facebook instant articles that they've been mentioned. One other guy I've been working with, a guy called Simon from SEO Tool, Simon Hogben, he mentioned about the Article Forge integration. That's something I need to look at. That's something I know a lot of SEO specialists are using. So making it a lot easier for Quick Blog to play with lots of different systems, very open type tool. That's ultimately where I see the vision. And I want it to be the number one thought of my front of mind when people say I want to create a blog. Cool, I'll create one in Quick Blog. You know how people say, "I'll just Google it." I want people to say, "I'll just Quick Blog it." Just something like that. That would be quite cool.
Nice. So let me ask you. So this is 100% bootstrapped, right?
100%, yeah.
Yeah. So
they self-funded. Self-funded, like I said, I'm not a developer, and I would never claim to be. I have like a good understanding of technical concepts and software, but I'm in a fortunate position where my full-time role is it's a good income, right? So I can support myself, my family, and still have money over to invest in this project, but also any income that I'm generating from the likes of Appsumo and my own private lifetime deal, that's all been reinvested into the platform just to make it better and bigger. So that way, now the sort of reliance on me, like self-funding it, is not as heavy as it was in the beginning. There's a lot of money up front, but now any money that Quick Blog generates in the initial year and going forward, that's all just going to be reinvested back into the platform, make it better, bigger, more scalable, more feature rich. Yeah, everything.
Nice. So it has overhead is low in that aspect, and then you're kind of funding it from your own bootstrap. So I can appreciate that. That's good. I like the fact that you're being straight up honest with people. There's some people who come on here, they're like, "Oh, we're going to give you unlimited this. You get a car, you get a car, you get a car," right? Everybody gets a car, right? Next thing you know, they're out of business in 24 months. We're like, wait, everybody got a car, but we don't really get a chance to utilize it. And so that's been one of the challenges I know lately at Appsumo. A couple more questions for you. So my question is, I built my blog out. I'm going to do another video. You'll probably be able to find that up here. I'll post it right here, or within the description below. And if you actually want to get this tool, you can use my affiliate link here that's in the description and explore it a little bit further if you wanted to. But what about when you click on the learn more? Like if I post a blog on my swipe pages, which I do currently now have, and I'm going to show people how my page looked before my blog and how it looks after my blog. I'm going to do that in my video. So, but it has a learn more on your blog. So I'll have the feature picture of the blog, and then it says learn more. What is the learn more picking up? Because the learn more is actually my blog. I don't see that when it comes to my page. So is that what's going on? Is it picking up my blog and the keywords and all that, even though it only says learn more? Tell me a little bit about that.
Yeah, so all that is, it's just a CTA, call to action button. It says just read more. That's the standard, the default. It's called read more. But you can actually change that. You can change that to anything that you want. So if you are, let's say, a Spanish, blogger, or you speak another language, you can actually change that content from English to whatever language you're using. Right. And there's been a couple of requests as well. This is something that's going to be fixed very soon. I'm not sure if you've seen, but in the blog itself, when you go to a blog post, you've got your back to the blog, next, and previous buttons. Right. And all of those buttons will also be able to be edited. So right now they are fixed and they're in English. There was an oversight on my part. But those will soon be able to be edited as well. So then those buttons aren't anything other than just call to action buttons.
Well, so it's not so much about the call to action buttons, because that makes sense. I'm saying the content. The content is not on my site, but what you're saying is the way it's set up on my domain already. So right. So is it reading my domain instead of, because I have it on my main page. Yeah. So is it going back and said reading the blog from my domain to pick it up, or how does that work? Or do you know what I'm talking about?
So I'm not sure, actually. I mean, it might be good if you're able to, I don't know if you can screen share this bit. So just so I can see, maybe I'm missing something, but I'm not sure.
So
the learn more part.
No, it's the same setup. Okay. So once I put the blog up, right, what comes up on my page is I don't want to screen share because I'm not really prepared to do that. But what comes up on my page is the actual picture of the actual that I showcase, and then it has a little bit, a few words, and it says, "Hey, learn more." I think that's is that what it is? Is learn more?
It says read more.
Yeah, read more. Yeah. If it says read more, prior to clicking on the read more, none of my content is there. That's what I'm saying.
Oh, I see. Right. So you don't have like a preview or anything like that of the content.
No, does it give you a preview, or can I show a preview?
You can switch it. You can switch it on. You can switch it on and off. There is.
Okay, so maybe that was. But not only that, my biggest question is Google reading?
Right. Yes.
Yeah. Is it reading? Because my blog is where all the keywords are. If I have a learn more, I mean, if I have a read more and it has a preview, it may only have maybe a paragraph.
Yeah.
Okay. So, but where is it picking up the keywords of all that? Is that because it is sitting on my domain? Is it reading that page instead? Is that what's going on?
Yeah, so on the key blog page where you've inserted your code, it will read the keywords that are on that landing page that you said. Like, let's say swipe pages, you can add your keywords.
That's right.
Tool. However, Google's indexing is really quite clever. I'm only just starting to scratch the surface of what it can do, and even if you've got the main keywords in there, actually, what it will start to do is it will start to crawl any articles that it can find. And even with the JavaScript generated ones like Quick Blog does, it can actually still read the contents of that blog and actually then associate any keywords that it finds that are obviously in that article. So any alt tags, it will start to almost like create this blog schema. It's not exactly quite there, but that blog post article that it reads from that blog page can actually then be indexed directly in Google as well.
Okay, yeah, that was I was like, man, it's not showing my whole article, but then that's okay
Yeah.
because it does pick that up. Okay, so that was one of the things that I had. And
Yes.
um so let's talk about your goal. Two more basic questions as we kind of wrap this up.
Mm.
What are your what is the ideal use case for white label for your particular product? Why would a person white label your product, right? Because I see you have a white label feature here set up, and you're giving us unlimited blogs. So why would a person white label your tool? What's a use case? Give me one good use case.
Yeah. The main use case is if you're a digital marketing agency and you want to resell a blog creation or blog publishing service that you then want to give your clients access to, but you don't want them to see the Quick Blog branding. So you want them to think it's your own app. That's the use case for using white label. So it just gives you a portal where you can say, I'm going to create my client in account A, client one in account A. They only see my brand in digitalmarketingblogs.com with my logo and my login domain, and any emails that are generated from there are also coming from my sending domain. So that way it's completely Quick Blog free, and it looks like you're providing an extra value service to your clients.
So how many? Well, I guess how many? If a person did that, I guess it would depend on how many codes they had to set up the account, or.
Yeah, so the maximum deal, lifetime stack deal is 90 accounts.
90 accounts, 4 stacks, yeah.
So after your first code, buy another 4, so 5 in total, then you have the full stack. So 5 codes in total. And that gives you 90 codes.
Okay, so in essence, just so I understand it, so in essence, I could have 89 clients, because one of them would be me, 89 clients. So I can have 89 clients. I can log into their own portal and pull down their blog or make edits to their blog. That's basically what it is.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So maybe you do the hard work. You install the code in their page for them for the blog, or maybe you get them to do it themselves. You can actually create different roles, which will be expanded in the future. There'll be more customizable roles. And then they can then manage all of the blog content themselves. So that way, either if you're going to write it for them, then maybe you want to charge them extra, or if you want to say, here's a DIY platform, and you can just create your own blogs, edit your own blogs, update them when you need.
Oh, okay. Got it. And it doesn't have anything to do with Quick Blog, because I think Quick Blog, I think you have a free, it's kind of a freemium, kind of does a free thing too. So I was wondering, so it doesn't have any remnants of Quick Blog at all?
Yeah, that's correct. In the white label platform.
In the white label.
For example, even the images that would be used, let's say when you're in the white label platform, if you're then uploading an image, it strips it back to the Amazon CloudFront domain rather than the Quick Blog domain. So that way you still don't see anything in it. Even like the code that you install is white labeled with your own domain, not the Quick Blog domain.
Okay, yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and pick that up. So one other question here as we kind of wrap up and kind of bring it to a close. And again, I want to appreciate you and I. We were playing phone. We were trying to figure it out because it's morning where you're at, it's night where I'm at. And we're like, man, what is going on, right? You're like, I don't want to do it early because I'm sleepy. And then I'm like, well, I don't want to do it late because I'm sleepy, right? So we had to find this even shift, and I'm glad it worked out. So one last thing. What's your plan for MRR, right? Because we think about is sustainability. Yours would be a little bit different because you're kind of bootstrapping. It's like, hey, listen, I don't have to be profitable in the next, 12 months or go out of business. You're like, hey, I kind of self-funded. It kind of does its own thing. So to me, I feel a little bit better about the sustainability, but I'm wondering about MRR for moving forward.
Yeah, I mean, that is the ultimate goal. In fact, I can't really call this a successful platform until I'm generating a significant MRR. So subscription model is the end goal. And, I've created targets for myself. So what I'm, being completely candid, what I'm suggesting or at least thinking of is the LTD will be on Appsumo for no less than 3 months. So by the end of March, probably a little bit longer, if it's still doing well, maybe 6 months. And because of the freemium model, there are a number of different options, especially as I build out more of a content library and start to generate more organic traffic and hopefully getting more users to actually use the platform.
Right.
You're thinking of ad revenue in free blogs. There's lots of different ways that, of course, I can generate revenue from free users. But the main thing, the most important thing, is actually the model or the plans that I've created. The subscription prices are actually relatively affordable and quite cheap, especially if you compare them to some other tools like direct competitors.
Right.
We're like a quarter of the cost, if not a little bit less. And so it's a very lucrative way for, like, let's say, a professional blogger or a digital marketing agency to be able to provide a service for their clients and not have to pay too much upfront, and then they'll easily recoup all of their costs, for example. And if you're a professional blogger, you can obviously generate income by doing things like, let's say, paywalls in the future. Ad integrations. You can already integrate your AdSense or your eZoic or whatever code you're using to generate ad income. Affiliate links and everything else that you're using to obviously generate income, that can all be part of your blog. So it will become a sort of general. There's a plan for everyone who needs one to be able to then pay on a monthly basis. But I'm not even thinking about charging monthly until, like, say, maybe I'll make a push for it by the end of this year, but it's not going to be any time particularly soon.
So with that being said, have you thought about things as far as creating because I see some other people are kind of moving to this model where you create this, the name escapes me right now, but it's almost like a showcase, right? Where people can post their blogs for sale. And so when you would take a percentage of that, you would create what is it called?
A marketplace type thing.
Yes, marketplace. Yes, that's exactly the word I was looking for. You would create a marketplace, which creates another revenue stream for you. And it's almost like, because I think a lot of people run down this rabbit hole of, I got to do ads because everything is online, everything is that. But there's still a way to get found without doing ads or keeping your ad costs low, right? So is the marketplace thing, or I don't want you to give away any trade secrets, man. I don't want people to be looking for you. But is that a thought? I mean, because that's another revenue stream, but that also could be, as we move into this NFT, as we move into these types of areas and all that, is that something you even thought of or considered? Or did I just give you that idea and maybe I should get a cut too?
No, completely candidly, actually, I've been thinking about doing a marketplace, but more for app development, like, or maybe even theme development. So where somebody goes and says, I'm going to create this awesome blog theme, it's never been seen before. You can have it for $1 download or whatever it is. And then they'll get like the majority share. And then that gives me a revenue stream as well. However, actually, you did just give me an idea about blog writing services, because if you think about it, somebody might just want to say, hey, look, I've got a quick blog. I need somebody to write a post for me. And it needs to be on these topics. Just, here's, you can create access for 24 hours. Go in and write it, and I'll go and approve it and do things like approvals. That's a really good way to do it, actually, because, like I said, that sort of Fiverr marketplace services.
Well, the reason why it comes up is because I used to do a lot of the articles for, I can't think of the name right now, but there's a couple places out there. Everybody's thirsty for content, right? Because everybody wants to have their pages relevant and wants it to be indexed and stuff like that. And that's the primary reason why Google's in business. I don't think if anybody's ever really sat down and thought about it, it's like, okay, so if we weren't putting all our content on YouTube or Google, then Google really wouldn't be in business, right? They wouldn't be this atlas or this, not atlas, but encyclopedia of the world's largest encyclopedia. They would not be in existence without content. So content is always going to be relevant. It just really depends on the forms that it comes in, right? I think I think TikTok has turned the industry upside down, and these quick bursts of, but there's still a professional side to content consumption. And I think having something that you can quick and throw blogs out real quick like that. The blog that I did on my site, I was testing it, and I did from start to finish everything, set up the blog page and everything. I did everything in 60 minutes. Complete blog. I went back, I optimized it. It would start out at 50%. Now I'm at 100%. That took me maybe 60, maybe 70 minutes, right? Maybe an hour and 10 minutes. But to do it took me, that's how fast it took me to crank it out. So normally when these outlets come to you, that says, hey, I need an article that talks about this, talks about that, or, going back to school, what are some of the top 10 things you can crank that out like in no time, right? And then some of them will give you revenue share. Some of them will just pay you. Some of them will give you backlinks to your own content. So there's a couple of different ways you can go in this direction. So any last words, any last comments? I know you have a Facebook type of group and some other stuff. Is there anything else that you want us to know and get out?
Yeah, the only thing is, if you're thinking about starting a blog, wanting to create one for passive income or whatever, just to get your message out, definitely look at Quick Blog. It's super quick. I think you'll see a lot of the feedback from Appsumo reviews, like getting Capterra and G2 reviews, and even Trustpilot. I'm very open. It's a very quick platform, very easy to use. It's free. You can get started very, very easily and cheaply. Join the Facebook group as well. So just have a look at a Quick Blog on Facebook. You'll find us, I'm sure, very, very easily. And you'll read what our users are saying, read more about how people feel about development and everything else. You'll see it's a very open community. So I invite anybody who's watching this to come and join and just see what's going on there and see how we progress over time. That's it for me.
No, I appreciate that. If you guys still are you looking to get Quick Blog, I do have an affiliate link below. Again, the affiliate links kind of help me offset the cost of just taking off my time and doing this. A gallon of gas in California is $6, right? I don't even think I make that much, but it's the fact that people are still utilizing it and saying, hey, I'll help them out. I'll help them offset the cost or something like that. So really appreciate that. Hey, thank you again for joining us here on Digital Growth Hacks Club, where we help you increase your bottom line, bringing you tools to show you how to make a difference in your business. Really appreciate Mr. Duran George, joining us here today. And you guys, hey, pick it up if you can. It's really good, right? And I'm going to do another video. Like I said, you should be able to see the link here below on what I actually did with it, my before and after my pages. I'm going to do two because I think there's another one that I did that I'm going to have behind a paywall too. And I'm going to show that too. So how I actually did that, because I have some paywall type of tools as well. So I'm going to show that too as well. So, and I'm going to pick up the actual white label as well, because I have some ideas that I'm going to use and create another revenue stream for myself and my agency as well. So again, thank you for joining us, and see you guys soon. Take care. Goodbye for now.
Thanks for having us on. Speak later.
All right.
Thank you for joining us here on the Digital Growth Hack Club, where we help you elevate your business and your bottom line. Please do not forget to subscribe and share. And until next time, goodbye for now.